We're back with breaking news from the New York Times that could have implications for Donald Trump's impeachment. Donald Trump, based on a new report in the Times, has considered firing the Inspector General, the one who looked at the whistleblower's complaint on Donald Trump's Ukraine conduct and deemed it credible and urgent. From that article, President Trump has discussed dismissing the intelligence community's Inspector General, Michael Atkinson, because Mr. Atkinson reported a whistleblower's complaint about Mr. Trump's interactions with Ukraine to Congress after concluding it was credible. That's according to 4 people familiar with the discussions. Mr. Trump first expressed his dismay about Mr. Atkinson around the time the whistleblower's complaint became public in September. In recent weeks, he has continued to raise with aides the possibility of firing him. One of the people said the president has said he does not understand why Mr. Atkinson shared the complaint, which outlined how Mr. Trump asked the Ukrainian president to investigate Mr. Trump's political rivals at the same time he was withholding military aid from that country. He has said he believes Mr. Atkinson, whom he appointed in 2017, has been disloyal, one of the people said. Joining our conversation just in time, editor-at-large for conservative opinion and news website The Bulwark, Charlie Sykes. Charlie, let me read one more paragraph because I think it brings into focus something that I was asking Jake about. It is always possible that the ground shifts, that the bottom falls out underneath Republicans who are so far dug in. Let me read a little more from this report. The mixture of public attacks and private discussions about a possible dismissal is a familiar way Mr. Trump has undermined investigators who have examined his conduct or that of people close to him. The president publicly criticized James Comey, the former FBI director, and Jeff Sessions, the former attorney general, before he dismissed them for perceived disloyalty. When do Republicans decide that a mob boss for president is not a good look?
When you and I get unicorns for Christmas. I mean, I'm sorry. I've gotten used to disappointment. But what you're seeing here is a slow motion Saturday night massacre. Yeah. This is not that surprising when you think about it, because the president wants to discredit or remove anyone who challenges him within the administration. I think he believes at a very fundamental level that everybody that works for the executive branch should work for him, should be loyal for him. And this gives you a little bit of a flavor of what a post-acquittal or re-elected Donald Trump will be like, that he would, that he actually thinks that he has the right and the power, and this is a good thing for him, to clear out anyone who would challenge him.
But let me push back. I mean, I think the other thing it reveals is that he knows he's wrong. I think when you see him even today saying it was a perfect call, if he was trying to fire the Inspector General from the intelligence community, he knows he did something criminal.
Well, look, who knows what Donald Trump knows or whether or not he has a sense of right and wrong. I think this whole discussion of his state of mind suggests that perhaps the president of the United States cannot distinguish right from wrong. Look, if this was a president who was absolutely confident of his behavior, why would he be obstructing this investigation? Why wouldn't he be saying, hey, everybody who knows something about this should be going up and testifying under oath in front of Congress? If there is, if there are aides who can exonerate him, he should be welcoming this investigation. The fact that he is, in fact, covering this up would suggest that he understands this is problematic.
I still have the capacity for surprise, and I think it's a shocking thing to read that if you're just joining us, breaking news in the New York Times in the last 20 minutes, President Trump discussed firing the Inspector General for the intelligence community. And we should talk about what the Inspector General is and does. He is a Trump appointee. He got this whistleblower complaint. He didn't just fax it to Congress. He went and investigated the allegations, corroborated them, deemed the complaint credible and urgent. And after the acting DNI, who'd been on the job about 28 days, called first the Justice Department and then the White House and delayed this complaint, I think, beyond the statutory window where they're supposed to transmit it. Only then did it go. I mean, this went about as slowly and with as many breaks on it as a complaint can go.
Slowly and properly. I mean, so it may be helpful to know that there are inspectors general throughout the federal government in agencies large and small. If you recall, when Jim Comey was still the director, before he was fired for disloyalty or refusing to pledge loyalty, he had asked the Department of Justice Inspector General to look at his own conduct, because Jim Comey fundamentally understands what inspectors general do and how they're useful. We don't always agree with their findings. We quibble, we quarrel. but we respect what they do because they're an independent body. The president fundamentally misunderstands this whole process. These people like Michael Atkinson, people like Bob Mueller, people who don't make a lot of money, but are guided by something other than being loyal to the president.
You know what? Go ahead.
I just don't care if he misunderstands. Then he's not fit to be president of the United States.
I'm not
it's
arguing
an
that he
amazing
is.
process because now he's blown the whistleblower talking point distraction diversion up because he's admitting that if he wants to fire Atkinson, that the whistleblower complaint really is the bulk of this. It started the impeachment process, and the whistleblower in his whole history and his whole professional life has nothing to do with this. So they wanted to really keep pounding on the whistleblower, but now we've blown that up to get Michael Atkinson in the hot seat. And this is a reminder that on my long list of people I mentioned before, I didn't mention the Attorney General, Bill Barr, who refused to accept and act on a criminal referral from the General Counsel of the CIA. Because when she sent it, he said later he ignored it because it wasn't put in writing. It was just only told over the phone. This entire thing, as you said, was corroborated because it was investigated by Atkinson, but then it's been corroborated by everybody else. And I'm just waiting, Charlie, for our friends in the Senate Republican caucus who did a few stick up for the whistleblower to stick up for inspectors general this afternoon.
But Donald Trump wants to know why everybody can't be like Bill Barr. Why can't everybody in the administration be like Bill Barr?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Bill Barr's department is investigating Lev Parnas and his sidekick. So we'll see how that looks after. Lev has flipped on Rudy and the president. We'll see how much he likes Bill Barr in a few weeks. Let me read a little bit more of this report. I think it's a stunning development, especially on the eve of impeachment. So now we have everything that the witnesses have testified to. We have that transcript, a summary of a transcript of a call the White House released and then locked down in a lockbox of their own making, whatever the heck it was. And now we have this, that Donald Trump sought to fire the inspector general who corroborated and then transmitted the whistleblower complaint. Trump discussed dismissing the intelligence community's inspector general, Michael Atkinson, because Mr. Atkinson reported a whistleblower's complaint about Mr. Trump's interactions with Ukraine to Congress after concluding it was credible. It's according to 4 people. Trump first expressed dismay about Mr. Atkinson around the time the whistleblower's complaint became public in September. In recent weeks, so as this has gone on, so it's not just firing him to keep this from being transmitted to Congress. He wants to fire him as retribution.
As retribution for perceived disloyalty. And it fits a pattern, Nicole, from the beginning of this administration where anybody in the government, especially those in the Justice Department or those with an accountability function to their jobs where they're providing oversight of the executive branch, if they take any step that the president perceives as threatening to his standing, to his political position, to his presidency, they're on the chopping block. And the Mueller report is full of examples of this, of trying to fire Sessions, but also trying to get rid of Mueller as the special counsel, trying to, at times to get rid of Rod Rosenstein as the deputy attorney general, who in that capacity was acting as the attorney general overseeing the Russia probe and other instances as well. So it's just another example in that pattern.
And I think it's a great piece of reporting from your colleague Carol Lennick, who wrote about Annie Donaldson's notes. They really feared that the effort or the act of firing Mueller represented the most grave legal peril to Donald Trump. So there has to be some concern. There has to be some alarm that may simply manifest itself as a furrowed brow at this point. But you look at how public opinion, the whistleblower complaint came out, it drove public opinion 15 points in support of impeachment. There hasn't been that much more public facing. The testimonies come out, but people haven't seen or heard from any of these officials yet. This has to be troubling to this West Wing.
Yeah, and, also the president, by firing the inspector general, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
That's
like
true.
the whistleblower complaint is out there. It's already been transmitted to Congress. There's nothing that can be reversed here. And so it's purely the president fuming over this situation he finds himself in, which we know he's want to do, and looking for ways to blame other people, to create fall men and women and strike back.
You think about the lasting damage to the Republican Party, probably just the three of us, and it's dangerous to do that without something stronger than water in the cup. But the lasting damage to the Republican Party would seem to be exacerbated by stories like this. So now Republicans, if they don't see to it to at least consider this impeachment proceeding, to at least consider conviction, then his power includes firing as retribution independent watchdogs.
That's the thing that's so amazing about what Charlie raised is the idea that, we think Trump is unleashed now. I mean, the idea post-acquittal, post-reelection, what the Republican Party has normalized for him, has said is okay. All the guardrails he's broken and they've looked away. That's why I was actually impressed. A bunch of them stuck up for the whistleblower being protected, 10 days ago. And I'm going to be looking to see what they say about Mr. Atkinson. But it's true. It's what they have to think long and hard about. That he will do before the 2020 election. This entire Ukraine scandal is about him interfering in next year's election. That's why you can't wait for next year's election, because he will interfere more. And what he would do post-acquittal.
And if he fires all the inspectors general, we might not find out about the next one. Go ahead.
It is just there's so much sunken cost. They have gone along with so much. They have mortgaged so much of their reputations. They have pretzeled themselves into rationalizations, enabling this man. They've looked the other way. So the question is, is one more thing going to make a difference? I think that looking around,
he wanted to fire.
Keep your head down and just get through all of this. I know we're going to talk about Nikki Haley.
Let me just add. I mean, not to both sides this from my vantage point, but it was, I believe, the ICIG who made the criminal referral for Hillary Clinton's emails.
Right.
I do not remember President Obama or Attorney General Lynch talking about firing anybody. I mean, we have to. This starts to feel normal. This is not normal. Other people have been investigated by inspectors general from the intelligence community, and they didn't talk about firing them.
The real danger for Trump, though, is that there will be more whistleblowers who will come out. And the one thing we've seen is this management by humiliation.
Not if they start firing all of them.
Well, but he's starting to feel. Look at all the people who are coming forward now from within the administration and testifying. This is a president who has humiliated people, who has ignored people, who has fired people. And now suddenly these ghosts are coming back, and we're going to be seeing them on television at the impeachment hearing. If he does something like this, yes, there's hostility within the intelligence community, but he's got to, what he's going to be concerned with, what he's going to be concerned with. But this could inspire more blowback, more things coming out. And again, it's not the Republicans in Congress that I'm looking at. It's like the people in the administration who will say, we're done with this. We are going to stand up and put our careers on the line and testify.
Really quick.
It could have two effects. That's absolutely one of them. But I think if to the extent that the president is a 4-year-old and that his signals are going out throughout the entire government, it can intimidate people.
Yeah.
So I think it could have two effects.
Right.
Some will be cowed. Some will step forward. We are incredibly awed by the ones who step forward, but I wonder how that breaks.
Yeah.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.